Okay, I am going to share my screen. I'm
And I
going to
will
go,
mute myself for now because I
no
might just
problem. Right. The things that we're learning as we go to uh, virtual. So note to self, share the desktop, not my Windows, because the sound doesn't work in the Windows, but it does in the desktop. So I now,
I'll,
yep.
sorry, Catherine, if you do have sound that you want to share, make sure when you click to share your screen, there's a little button to share system audio. You'll need to click that if you want.
I
Um,
don't think I did.
okay, so
So
stop
thank
sharing.
you for
Yeah,
thank you for reminding me.
yep, stop
Um,
sharing and then go back and make sure you click that right away when you start.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So 1 sec now. Sorry guys, this is just the joys of remoteness, virtual I should say, and remoteness.
I'm sure they've
Um,
seen all of us struggling.
oh
Nothing new.
gosh, no,
Oh,
one
and it
sec
looks like
now.
we have another participant.
In-
So,
Include computer sound. Right, I have it done now.
okay,
Yeah,
great.
did that, did that. Uh, okay, I'm back into, you don't want to be looking at my email, so we'll come out of there and we'll go back into my PowerPoint. Excellent. From beginning. Okay, can everybody hear me? I don't know if you can still see me, but can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'd like to just introduce myself. My name is Catherine Martin, and I look after the study abroad and the summer school programs at the University of Limerick. We've been partnered with Stout for a long time. Predates me in my current role, so I reckon it must be 15 years. We are also partnered with, and they're going to pop up, and I'm just going to delete them as they come up. Um, we're also partnered with the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, um, Eau Claire, and recently with Madison. So when I go to the US, when we can travel, I normally go to Wisconsin probably once or twice a year. And also over to Minnesota because we're partnered with the University of Minnesota over there as well. So I've actually visited Stout, the campus, um, and um, and I know Wisconsin pretty well. So I suppose to start, um, we probably have 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 students from those two states, Wisconsin and Minnesota, maybe even more, maybe 70 actually per year. Um, and UL is a really good fit with you guys. I think partly because the weather isn't as severe in Ireland as it can be in the Midwest, but also we have a very similar Midwestern type of attitude to life, very kind of laid back, very grounded. Um, um, very normal and very real, I suppose, is how I'd put it. So I'm going to give a presentation today on what the study abroad program looks like at UL, what UL looks like, what Ireland looks like, and I'm hoping by the end of it, it'll give you a good idea of who we are and what we do. So this is where we are. This is a world map, as you can see. And luckily for Ireland, we're situated really right in the middle of the universe, um, which is what we kind of like. But it's very handy for traveling for you guys from the States, but also traveling on to Europe. So we're kind of equidistant between the US, Europe, say China on the other side of the world, and India. So it's a good location. Um, this is where we are in Limerick. So we are also a Midwestern university or a Midwestern town. Limerick is down there, quite close to Clare and Kerry, which is the beautiful Wild Atlantic Way, but also it's quite close to other parts of Ireland. And I will come back to that in a minute. So we'll just move on. Ireland is the sixth most popular destination for study abroad students in the world, which is quite surprising because we're a very small country. So people do wonder, and you guys might wonder why. And these are the reasons. It's a modern society, yet it's small enough that it's still got a community feel. So it's traditional, but not in an old-fashioned sense. It's traditional in, I suppose, a community or small town sense where people tend to know each other and they have a sense of the history. But it's modern in the sense that we are a 21st century country. We're English speaking. Um, I suppose Gaelic is our national language, but the language we speak for the last couple of hundred years has been English. We all learn Irish at school, and you guys will have the opportunity to take some Irish classes if and when you come. But you don't need Irish to come to Ireland, which is kind of handy. It's very beautiful. So it's called the Emerald Isle, and that's because it can rain sometimes here, not all the time, but it does keep the grass nice and green, and that's where you get that kind of Emerald Isle or um, I don't know, is it 50 Shades of Green? It's not the other 50 Shades anyway. It's 50 Shades of Green, and it's lovely. Um, and it is like a patchwork quilt when you fly in, just the little fields. Um, kind of surrounded by or bordered by walls and hedges or ditches, and all the fields have a different kind of shade of green. So it is very beautiful. Even I think so when I fly in. The people are very friendly and hospitable. So we're a very small country. There's approximately only 5 million people in the island of Ireland, which is the size of the very small states in the United States. Because of that, everybody kind of either knows each other or keeps going until they get some connection. So we're very, our society, our community is built on connections. It just makes us very chatty. So you can get to you'll get to experience that when you come, but please don't be offended by it. People aren't being nosy, they're just actually very friendly. So it's quite different than what you might experience in the US. Here, people will chat to other people that they don't know quite readily, actually. The location, as I already said, it's a great location for coming from the US or exploring Europe or even just exploring Ireland. It's such a beautiful country. Safety. So Ireland is a very safe country. It's in the top 10 safe countries of the world. Um, and I think we take that for granted over here, actually. It's only when you travel abroad that you realize, well, things aren't the same. For example, our police officers don't carry guns, and most people don't have guns in their houses, possibly farmers, for whatever farm activity they need to do. But other than that, it's very uncommon. So it's very safe to live here. We have a world-class education. We're known as the land of saints and scholars for probably 1500 years. Um, and the education and the education system is 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 very protected within Ireland and very high status. Most of the kids would go to some level of third level education after school. We have a highly educated workforce. The culture. So when study abroad students were surveyed recently by one of the study abroad providers here in Ireland, and the feedback that they got from students was the third most popular reason for why Ireland was the culture. So again, it's the language, it's the food, it's the sport, it's the traditional Irish music, it's the traditional Irish dancing, and it's all those other kind of things that just kind of merge together to become um, I suppose, what makes a country, the sense of self, the sense of identity. So that's the culture of Ireland. It's got a young and vibrant population, so approximately 50% of the population are under the age of 30. So it's yeah, it's young and it's vibrant. And because of that, if we go back to point one, it's a very modern society with very forward-thinking young people, which is the way it should be. And we're a global business leader, so we have a lot of multinationals that are based in Ireland. Um, and this goes back into our education system and everything else, the location, English speaking, it's a very attractive destination for people to do business. We have Google, Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn, Uber, um, TikTok actually are coming, to name a few that are based in Ireland. And we have lots of multinational pharmaceuticals and other kind of companies, finance, that are based here because we are in Europe, but we are English speaking. So I just want to say a little bit about Limerick. So there's some images there of Limerick. So in the center we have the King John's Castle, and we have kind of the older with the modern. So it's the third largest city in Ireland. It has approximately 100,000 people living in the city, but in the county, you probably have around 270 in total. It's a medieval city, so you can see there at the top of that photograph is King John's Castle, and that was started in around the 1100s and finished in around 1220. It's the gateway to the Wild Atlantic Way, and which is the entire west coast of Ireland, going from Cork in the south all the way up along to Donegal in the north of the country. It's a scenic driveway. It's supposed like Route 66, except going up along the west coast of Ireland. It's extremely beautiful. We're very close to the other parts of Ireland, so we're only 2 hours from Dublin. We're an hour from Cork, an hour from Galway. And there's really good intercity connections with the coaches. So you can go from campus straight up to Dublin or to Dublin Airport in 2 hours, and it's very cheap. It costs around $15 each way. And most people in Ireland actually do use public transport. So we use the trains and we use the coaches or the buses. Again, they're very safe, they're very clean, they all have Wi-Fi. Um, and it's how we get around. Because we're such a small country, you don't necessarily have to have a car like you might do in the US. So most of our college students don't drive. They would get a bus or get a coach, or their parents might drive them to campus on a whatever Sunday, and then they might go home at the weekend and they'll get the bus or they'll get the coach back home again. Because we're such a small country, most of the students that live on campus or study in UL come from like a geographical area of maybe an hour to an hour and a half away from the campus. So it's quite easy for them just to get the bus. So there's loads of things to do in the city. It's small enough that you're not overwhelmed, but it's large enough that there is choice. So we have the cathedral, we have King John's Castle, we have a small museum, we have Bunratty Castle and Folk Park, which is 8 miles outside the city, but is equally lovely. We have the Milk Market, which is the image there on the right-hand side. And there's lots of cafes, pubs, restaurants, and stores of all makes, shapes and sizes. And we're also known for our sport. So we have rugby, we have the Munster rugby team train on campus and play in Thomond Park. And we also have hurling and Gaelic football that happen throughout the year as well. Okay, and I suppose to talk a little bit about the campus. So the campus, it's an amazing campus. It's on 400 hectares, and it was voted the Irish University of the Year in 2019 and the Irish Campus of the Year in 2019 and 2020. Just some things that international students have said about UL, and again, why UL. UL is ranked number 2 for international student happiness in the world, number 1 in Ireland for sports facilities, number 1 globally for social activity, so that would be the clubs and societies, best international office in Ireland and the UK, best accommodation quality and access in Ireland, best library in Ireland. We always had a library, but the library was doubled in size 2 years ago, and it's pretty spectacular now, and one that the students love to use. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's won that accolade. And 97% of the UL University graduates are employed in further studies, which is the highest graduate employment in the country. So it's a high quality school as well. Now let's see, does the first of our videos work? It's just going to go straight to YouTube. That's the way we've set it up. Okay. I'll just give it a second.
Why choose UL?
No, no, thanks.
Why choose UL?
At UL, there are over 3,000 international students from 100 different countries across the world.
State-of-the-art facilities with hands-on experience.
UL is Ireland's sporting campus with an Olympic swimming pool and a world-class sports arena.
And these pitches, which are accessible to all UL students. UL has 7 purpose-built student villages, so you're never more than a few minutes away from your next lecture.
Researchers at the Bernal Institute work with the very best scientists and engineers from all over the world.
At UL, you get to put theory into practice. My world-renowned professors inspire me to be the best I can be every day.
All international students are eligible for up to 2-year work visa once they complete their degree.
UL was voted first in Ireland and the UK for Students' Union and first in the world for social activities. UL was voted #1 in Ireland for its clubs and societies. We have over 80 different ones. And there are some great spots to get away to on our beautiful campus.
UL students have a very high employment rate compared to the university national average.
The greatest thing about UL is the community that you become a part of and the friendships you make along the way.
Choose UL for living.
For world-class facilities.
For affordable education.
Choose UL for a global qualification.
Choose UL for community.
For friendship.
Choose UL for your future.
For real-life experience. For a world of opportunity.
So, what are you waiting for?
Now, I'll come out of there before it starts showing us lots of other videos we don't have time to watch today. And we'll go back into, oh, where's my presentation gone? Oh, there we go. Okay. So some of the things that I want to say about UL, it's a relatively small campus. It's got around 16,000 students. Well, I suppose it's not that small really. It's a medium-sized campus in Ireland and possibly in the States as well. And it's very much a campus-based university. So as you saw on the previous video, there were 6 or 7 student villages, and most people tend to live on campus, or the students might live in private housing just off campus. But it makes for a campus-based experience where it's very lively, and the classes and the living and the study and the social activities take place on campus. So at 6 o'clock, it's not like everybody's gone. It's still quite buzzy around. We talk about UL, and I've already mentioned about Ireland as connecting to a community, and it was referenced in the video there as well. It's a very easy place to make friends, whether they're from other parts of Europe or other parts of the States, or even Irish people, because everybody is living on campus together. So 80% of the students live on or near the campus. When you come to Ireland, we collect you from Shannon Airport, and at the moment we're also doing collections from Dublin Airport, or at least information on how to get from Dublin down to Limerick. We have a 7-day orientation program to familiarise you, and this is really important for students to get a feel for the place and to settle in. so that when you start classes the following Monday, that you know exactly where you're going and what you're doing. So during that week, we cover all things academic, social, cultural, and we're on hand to work with you guys on any issues or timetable questions you may have, but also just to kind of help you settle a little bit. And we do lots of fun activities during the week. We also have a buddy system. So the buddy system is where you can apply to have a UL student to be your kind of buddy for the week before you arrive and the first couple of weeks of term, and then into term, some pizza nights and movie nights and things like that where you can meet up as a group. So all the buddies and all their buddies and all of you guys. And it's a really good way to meet some Irish full-time students and I suppose in an easier way than say having to just go up and say hi, my name is, to somebody that you don't really know. And oftentimes you become friends with that person and then you become friends with their friends. So it's a neat way to expand your social group. We also have over 80 clubs and societies, so you can get active. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on in the presentation. And there are volunteering and service learning opportunities as well, which is a really good way to get out into the community and get to know people. Because it's a campus-based university, which is great, and we love that about it, and it's very beautiful. But if you wanted, you might never leave the campus. And you might only mix with students. So volunteering in the community is a really good way to get outside of campus and meet real people, as I call them, real life people doing real life things. And UL has got some really good volunteering opportunities. There is a virtual campus tour there. I won't show it to you now, but you can see it online because we're going to see some of that in some of the other videos. And it is a little bit, here's this building, here's that building, here's the other building. But it will give you a good overview of what the campus looks like if you choose to come here. So as we already said, UL has over 1,700 international students. It's got the largest Erasmus program in Ireland, which is the European equivalent of study abroad. So it's where all the European students come and study abroad for a semester. So we have approximately 500 to 700 European students that are on campus each year, around 500 in the autumn semester and around 350 in the spring semester. We try and encourage you to, we want you to have an international experience from the outset, because that's part and parcel of why you do your study abroad. So how we do this is we set up the buddy program, we do the 7-day orientation, but we also work with the on-campus accommodation to ensure that you guys get the opportunity to live with other international and Irish students. So we like to put some of our US students with some of our European students where you can make friends with people from other countries and other cultures. And it's very successful. And it's really where lifelong friendships are made. You also get to learn with obviously Irish and EU students in your classes as well. And naturally, it's very cheap to travel within Ireland and to Europe too. So in terms of the academics, there's over 1,000 classes to choose from. We have a 4 to 5 class load at 3 US credits per class. You have 1 to 2 weeks to try out your classes. And obviously, being a modern university, we've got very excellent learning facilities and academic learning supports. So I'm just going to actually do a little bit about the classes, and then I want to come back and show you that video. So we have 4 faculty. We have the business school, we have education and health sciences, we have science and engineering, and we have arts, humanities, and social sciences, which is quite popular with a lot of the US students, because a lot of students like to take their gen eds, and they often fall into the arts, humanities, and social sciences. And here's an example of some of the classes that we have. So you can see the first column is science and engineering, and a lot of choice there. The second column is education and health sciences. We have nursing, midwifery, psychology, education classes. Then in arts, humanities, and social sciences, we have history, we have the languages, literature, law, politics, sociology, music and dance. And then business, we have accounting and finance major, economics, marketing and management, and work and employment studies. So there's really a lot there for your majors, your minors, and your electives as well. Some of the popular study abroad classes that the study abroad students and international students like to take are Introduction to Irish Music and Dance. So these would be the cultural classes. Irish Folklore, Celtic Civilization, Irish Language for Beginners, Introduction to Gaelic Games, and again, as I mentioned, the volunteering and service learning classes. You'd also get some of the freshman classes in psychology, marketing, history, Irish literature, Irish politics, that work for your gen ed options. And we do encourage you to save back some of your gen eds for when you study in Ireland. I was going to show you another video. I sometimes think the videos encapsulate the message far better than me speaking or a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know why it starts at 27 seconds, but it always does. Let's bring it back to the beginning. Sorry, my internet is slow today, but it will come up in a second, I hope. There we go.
I've had a couple of people ask how Ireland has been, and my first thing that I always say is like the people here have been incredible.
I like the nature very much, and it's so green here.
The buildings are like incredibly beautiful.
I love stopping and just looking at all the history that they have here.
And even just the amount of food on campus has been awesome. I've gotten to try so many different things that I've never tried.
It's also got like a lot of space and a lot of activities for whatever you want to do.
Everything is in one place, so you don't have to go far away to be able to enjoy yourself with your friends. So that's a good balance, and you don't get that in a lot of places.
I'm actually in a really neat position here. So I get to be what's called like the cultural advisor. My job is to work with the study abroad division and basically just help make study abroad students' lives easier and help them adjust to life in Ireland, UL, understanding what resources they have available to them. It's basically just kind of reflecting on my own experience as a study abroad student and that they have someone who might understand what they're experiencing.
I definitely know the struggle of coming from a university that you love a lot and you don't want to miss anything going on at your home university, but I would encourage my friends to remind themselves that they're going to get to experience so many new things that they'll probably love just as much as they would at their home university. And then when you return to your home university, it makes it even more special to be back because you've had new experiences and new things that you value.
I met very nice and lovely people here, international and national people, so yeah.
Put your foot in everything because, I don't know, Ireland is very fun and there's like a lot of tradition, there's a lot of like modernization, there's just everything for everyone.
Schedule's too tight, no excuse. Married, no excuse.
Nope.
You think that you're gonna not fit in, no excuse.
No.
Study abroad.
Hey, here we go again. I find my presentation. That always makes me laugh, that last sentence from Gabe and Ivy, you know, married, no excuse, because they actually were married. Oh, I might add a second up. Here we go. I forgot to. Sorry, I forgot to. Here we go. Oh dear. I forgot to X out of my video. And off YouTube went, doing what YouTube does, drawing us in. Before we know it, it's 10 hours later and we've watched 100 YouTube videos. Okay, so So we looked at the Why study at UL video, and we looked at that. We looked at the classes. We looked at the video. We looked at the classes you can take, popular Irish studies classes. And what you saw on the video were, you saw some of the students at the Cliffs of Moher and in other parts of Ireland. So another reason why students come to study abroad and come to Ireland is, in their own words, they want to have memories to last a lifetime. So they're looking for a once in a lifetime experience, and that is what study abroad is. Yes, it is the academics, and obviously the most important part of your study abroad is to get your classes, is to get your credits, is to stay on track, is to get the value of the money that you spend to come and study abroad. But naturally, part of the study abroad experience, or at least half of the study abroad experience, is academic, but the other half is, I want to travel, I want to see Ireland, I want to see Europe, I want to make friends. And as I said, it's very easy to do that in Ireland, or in Limerick in particular, because we're so equidistant to the Cliffs of Moher, to Dublin, to Cork, to Galway. And it's very easy to fly from Shannon Airport, which is only 15 miles or 20 miles maybe from campus, or from Dublin Airport, which has direct coach links, to London and to Europe and to other parts of the world. And again, it's relatively straightforward and it's relatively cheap to do that as well. So there are some images that some of our students took while they were here. And at this point, I must say, if you're interested in studying abroad and coming to Limerick, please do join the UL Global Twitter and Instagram account in particular, because we've lots of international students posting their images, their messages, doing blogs and vlogs and all kinds of things. And really, that is peer-to-peer. So that's your peers talking about what they're doing, and they can do a much better job of of sharing their experience of what it's like to be an international student than I can. So I want to talk a little bit about the villages. So these are 5 of the villages that are on campus. There are a further 2 villages that are off campus but are run through the university. So the videos are guaranteed on-campus accommodation for all study abroad students. You live with Irish and European students. You have your own bedroom. So that's one difference that you might come across here, is that you don't share a bedroom. You might share a bathroom, but if you want to pay a little bit more, you can have your own bathroom. You can have an ensuite bedroom. There's on-site village managers and there's 24-hour security, so it's very safe. There's free gym membership, which includes the pool and some of the classes. And there's also a meal plan option if you wish it. Now we do have another video, and this is a recent one that was made by the students for the freshman students coming in, but you're not freshman students, but you are new students to UL. So it's a good one to give you an idea of what the villages look like and what your apartment will look like, because obviously this is where you're going to be living. So this is Kilmurray village. It's not one of the en-suites, so it's one of the shared bathroom, but it's a very popular one because of its location. And hopefully this will start to play a little bit faster than the last one.
Okay, so now we're going to go and do a bit of a tour of the campus accommodation. We're going to go to Kilmurray. That's actually where I lived in first year, and I had a great time, and since then they're after doing it up. So Kilmurray is about maybe 5 minutes walk or so to like the main part of campus, and on my right then is like the big UL sports arena, and actually part of that is the Munster kind of like rugby training area as well. You got loads of pitches down here you can use. There's a tennis court there as well. So there's actually really like lots of nice amenities. If you're first year coming onto campus for the first time, really good idea to stay on campus accommodation. You're going to have a good time.
So as Patrick said, we're just going to take you on a quick tour of one of the student houses here in Kilmurry Student Village. So as he said again, they've recently been done up, so everything is state of the art, brand new and really clean and lovely. So firstly, I'm just going to show you one of the bedrooms. Again, really spacious, lots of storage, everything you might possibly need if you're moving away from home and choose to study here. Nice big bed, lovely seating area, nice desk, really fast Wi-Fi which you need for all of your assignments and all of your study. So that's pretty much the rooms, really nice. Now I'm just going to take you through to the new bathrooms, all state of the art. Just a quick show. Nice power shower, really spacious, really clean, everything you could possibly need. And I'm just going to show you the kitchen as well. Again, super spacious. Listen to that echo, super spacious. Nice big dining area, all the storage you could possibly need, two fridges, and a nice big living area. So if you're going to have mates around, or if you're going to bond with your new housemates and make new friends, you have all the space you need.
And now we're in the Village Hub, which wasn't here when I was here. I think it's only here in the last maybe couple of years. But really decent spot. Yeah, like if you're after making a bit of dinner, bit of scran, something like that, you can come up here, chill with your mates. There's like 3 50-inch TVs, and then to close right, my right, there's a pizza machine. It's worth mentioning also that next to the Village Hub there's a laundrette. And now we're going to start walking towards the sports arena, just to show you how close it is to this village. The apartment that we were checking out is just down there, and then if we basically just walk up this way, the reception is to the right of where Clodagh is walking now with the yellow backpack. And then over on this side we have got the sports arena, the Munster Gym, and literally just over that hill right there, actually I'll go up for the hell of it, we have got the running track. Over the running track then there's like a whole host of AstroTurf pitches, and basically past where the arena is, which is straight in front of me, is all the college lecture halls.
Remind me this time to come out of YouTube so it doesn't start playing again. So the villages have the sorry, apologies for my pop-ups. The villages have normally 4, 6 or 8 bedroom apartments or houses. As I said, you have your own bedroom, but you may share a bathroom. But if you do share a bathroom, you never share with more than 3 or 4 other bedrooms. So you're never sharing with more than, say, 3 or 4 other students. They all have their own kind of character. That one is quite handy because it's close to the arena, but there's some others that are closer to the Irish World Academy of Music and Dance. So for the music and dance students or the nursing students, or Drumroe is quite close to the main kind of teaching building or to the business school. So it just depends on what kind of style of living that you prefer. So we also, well, I've already kind of mentioned the student support. So what we have, the buddy program, the orientation, we have a dedicated student support officer, we have a resident director, and obviously we have counselling and wellbeing services and learning centres. The resident director is, that was actually the American girl that you saw in the previous videos with the kind of the curly hair, who said that I'm a resident director. Ashley was a previous study abroad student. Actually, she went to school in North Central in Naperville in Illinois, and she's from that Chicago area, so not far from you guys. And Ashley came to us as a study abroad student and loved her experience so much. She came back to do her master's in UL, and she was with us for this year, or last year. So when we made that video, Ashley was with us. She's since moved back to the States, and she's now working in the study abroad section. So she's working in one of the American universities in the international office. So you never know, if you come to UL as a study abroad student, you might come back a couple of times, and you might even stay. We have had students that have stayed as well, got jobs and everything else here. So we mentioned a little bit about this sport at UL, and it is the Ireland Sporting Campus, and that is because of the arena, the Olympic-sized swimming pool, and the playing pitches, and just the location and how beautiful it is. So it's very easy to stay fit and to keep fit. There are some images of the river and of the beautiful walks and paths that surround us that we that we all use regularly, and the community, because we are an open campus. So the community come in with their children and their dogs and go for walks there, because it is like a park. And I wanted to speak a little bit about the clubs and socks. So because we are an on-campus or campus-based university, most of our students live on or near campus. So the clubs and socks are very well attended, probably the best in Ireland actually, and they regularly win the best prize for the clubs and societies. Some of the ones that are very popular with international students would be the International Society, purely because obviously we have 1,700 international students, so they're very active. The Outdoor Pursuits Club is also very active, and that one is because a lot of students like to do, I suppose, to go to the beautiful scenic parts of Ireland, and the outdoor pursuits brings you up mountains and down glens, and you go away for weekends and stuff, and it's very popular to students. The surf club, the kayaking club, they're all very popular as well because they're water-based and we're on the river. The parkour is becoming quite popular. And then we have the obviously the anime and manga, the comedy. We also have the Tea Appreciation Society. I don't see it there, but there is a Tea Appreciation Society, which is also surprisingly very popular with students. So they drink lots of tea, obviously, from around the world. But what's more, they go on day trips and weekends away to quaint tea houses in Ireland, and also they go to the UK. And they went to Edinburgh there a couple of years ago. They went to where J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter. So in most of them, you will go somewhere for weekends, or you do things in the evenings and at the weekends. So it's a great way to meet new people. And let's show you their video. We're nearly done then, and we can take some questions.
Drink one more Bacardi, one more dance at this after party. We still going strong. Speed so faster like a Ferrari. We get wilder like on safari. We still going strong. And all of these good things, good things, good things. All we need, good things, good things, good things. Tonight we go all night long. We party like Post Malone. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home tonight. Ain't nobody kill my vibe. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home. Yeah, we are never ever going home. Yeah, we are never ever going home. Tonight we go all night long. We party like Post Malone. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home tonight. Ain't nobody kill my vibe. Don't tell me to go. Yeah, we are never ever going home. Yeah, we are never ever going home. Never ever going home. Yeah, we are never ever going home.
So that was the Students' Union videos from last year, as you can see, but it does give you an idea of everything that's available to you. So as I said, because we're a campus-based university, the clubs and socks are very well attended, and I really do highly recommend that you join, 2 or 3 of them, because it's where the International Society is great, but you might want to meet Irish people in the soccer club or in the American football club, actually, all Irish. The archery or the fencing club. So there's loads of choice, absolutely loads. So really, why would I say to choose UL? Well, for the fun, the friends, and for the experiences and for the memories. I'm not going to show you another video, but there is another video there that when you get this, I don't know if you were able to click into the link, but you'll find it on YouTube. One of our American students from Iowa State 2 years ago entered a competition from Iowa State for the best kind of study abroad video. And it was so good, his school sent it on to me to say, you know, it's a really good video if you want to use it for your purposes. So that's what that video is. So if you can't get the link, just Google it on the UL YouTube International and you'll find it, Study Abroad. It's a really good video actually, but it's too long. It's around 3 or 4 minutes long. He goes to Limerick, he goes to Ireland, he goes to Europe. So he had a great time actually. So these are just some of the images of our international students over the years. So that is it. That is my presentation. So let me come out of here and let me go back in here and let me take some questions. So we've had some new people have joined since I've been talking.
Thank you for your presentation. That was wonderful.
No problem.
Yeah, Andrea and Chella are in here and they're the study abroad advisors.
I know, Andrea. How are you, Andrea?
Good, Catherine. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you. I'm missing everybody.
Same here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so wonderful to see you.
You too. Yeah. So I was, for all the students, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, I normally get over to Wisconsin once or twice a year, and I come and visit, or I meet Andrea at some of the conferences we would go to. So it's been a very weird year for us and for you guys too, and for the students, for everybody, but we're all in the same boat. We're all looking forward to, I suppose, well, I don't know, just getting on with things, I suppose.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I'm glad we can connect like this, and
well, there's some silver linings are coming out of where we are. So we've all realized how easy it is to actually connect, and how easy it is to do these kind of sessions. So it's great for me and it's great for the students, and I'm delighted to do it.
Excellent. And for the students that are with us, do you have any questions we can help you with? You're welcome to either pop your microphone on or place them in the chat.
Did you have any questions about any of the classes, or what it's like to live here, or anything to do with, I know with students, a lot of it is about the classes, how they work, and you know what the accommodation is like, and what do I do in the evening. So in UL, it's very much, oh, here we go. When would be the best time to go, like fall or spring or summer? That's a good question. From my perspective, from the semester program, they're quite similar to each other in terms of the classes that you have available to you to take. The semester, I find, is a more in-depth experience because you're there for 15 weeks and you actually, you know, you're living there for 15 weeks. The summer program is for 3 weeks, and it's a lovely, easy program where everything is kind of made very easy for you. You're collected from the airport, you're brought your accommodation, you get vouchers for your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We bring you off campus for 3 days to some of the tourist sites. You go to Dublin, and it's lovely, and it's all lovely. But do you have the same kind of in-depth experiential learning that you get from 15 weeks? No, you don't. So the 3 weeks is very good if you're, you know, if you're in a major that you find it hard to go away during the semester. But sometimes students might say that they're very nervous about going away for the full semester, and I would say to you, don't be. It's a very once you get into, you know, your accommodations, get your classes, you know, within like 2 weeks you'll forget everything. You'll just become a UL student, and then you'll have really good fun, and you'll make really good friends. That video, no, and thank you for that. I might need to crop out that bit of that video. That first video was a generic video that we made last year for our international students, but it's for all international students. And a lot of our international students that come to us are doing a master's program. So for those students that are coming to do a master's program, that are going to start, finish, and graduate out of UL, they are allowed to stay back with a two-year visa. So that girl Ashley that we saw in the video, Ashley came to do her master's, and Ashley stayed and worked for a year before she went back to the States. So it doesn't apply to study abroad because you guys aren't here for long enough. You're only here for 15 weeks, and you're not graduating out of UL. So it's for all non-EU international students that graduate. So you'll probably have to think about maybe coming back to do your master's in Ireland. And if you do, then you will be allowed to stay in the country for 2 full years and work legally. There's a very similar scheme that actually works in the US. So some of our graduates go to the US they can work for a year on a graduate visa. So that's really what it is. It's a graduate visa. Is it more difficult to join club societies in the spring semester? No, it's the exact same whether you're there for the autumn semester or for the spring semester. The only difference between the autumn and the spring is that the spring is more popular with the US students. And I suppose it's a little bit, you have a little bit more time to do the traveling because you have a week off at Easter. So you've got an Easter break. And then when term starts or finishes around the 17th of March, or sorry, beg your pardon, May, some of the students will go to Europe for a week or two before they go back home to the US. In the autumn semester, we start around the 10th of September and we go until around the 18th of December. So most of the students will go directly home because they want to be home for Christmas. But the advantage of UL is that we're semesterized like you are in the States. So we work off the 4-point GPA as well. And all of our exams happen pre-Christmas. So before Christmas, you don't actually have to come back after Christmas to your exams, which is the case in maybe some of the other universities around the world. The accommodation, as I said, is, what is the cost tuition? There you go. There, I'm back again. So, sorry, all over the place. So Andrea, how does it work for your students in terms of tuition?
Yeah, so let's see. I was just looking that up here. So Bailey, Bailey, we have this is a direct enroll, and I could share my screen here. Let's see. I don't know if we have the new cost yet for the new academic year, but this is pretty close to what it will be. Let's see, are you able to, there we go. Hopefully you're able to see my screen here. So on our website, if you go to uw-stout.studioabroad.com, you'll find the University of Limerick. And after you just do a little search for example, semester academic year programs, and then you can click, there's a variety of different tabs here, and you can click on the costs and scholarships tab. And so for example, there's a fall budget and there's a spring budget, and usually they're the same. But you'll see the billable and the non-billable costs. And the billable is what we charge to your Access Stout account. And the program fee for Limerick, we have at $9,500. And usually at the bottom, we put what that is, what do you call it? What the euro is.
Oh, the conversion, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, the conversion. It's based on 8,384 euro. And at the time that we did this last October, the currency rate was 9,500. So that could vary a little bit. And then you have other costs in terms of Stout fees, e-Stout fee, emergency fee, which is $30. We'll have to put that in there. And then the non-billable includes the things that are out of pocket, like your airfare. The student visa is actually the resident permit when you,
yeah.
Yeah, when you arrive in Ireland.
And do I see there that the accommodation is included in the billable?
No, we usually have that. It's
in
not
the notes below. I think it was referenced.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. So the program fee would include the tuition and the accommodation.
Yeah. So Plassey is one of the on-campus villages. It's a 4 or 8 bedroom apartment style, and again, it doesn't have its own bathroom en suite, but it has a single room, and you share a bathroom with 3 others, or if it's an 8-bed or an 8-bedroom, you have 2 bathrooms. It's also very popular with the study abroad students as well.
Mm-hmm. And if anyone has any questions about that afterwards, you can always hop over into Ask an Advisor or send me an email. You can also book a virtual appointment with me. I'd be happy to help you out.
I think one of the questions there is the summer 2021 the earliest?
Well, we are still planning on sending students in the spring, provided that we can go, provided we're welcome in other countries. It depends if US people can get into, Ireland or other places. So we have not canceled spring 2021 yet. We just have to kind of see what happens.
Okay, well, Ireland is open for international students. So we have not as many US students as we normally would have, but we do have US students and European students and non-students from all over the world that are starting, actually that are doing their kind of self-isolating quarantine piece now. So at the moment it's 10 days quarantine that when you arrive, which is looked after because all of our students live on campus. All of this is happening on campus, and the on-campus accommodations have been doing this since last March. So they're very experienced in everything to do with, I suppose, what's going on at the moment. Yes, we do have rainbow housing. When you apply on campus for your on-campus form, that will be one of the options you get to tick. So there's one there, I think, for rainbow housing. There's one for meal plan. There's one for I want to live with a particular person. So there are a couple of options. In fact, we were just about to launch twin bedrooms, actually. So where you would share your bedroom with another person to bring the cost down. Obviously, for you guys living in the US, that's no bother to you because you're used to sharing your rooms. So if and when that comes back on stream again, when we're not living in, COVID-19 land, that's another way to make it a little bit more cost effective. But yes, Reid, you can apply for the rainbow housing. We also have a very active out in UL, which would be the LGBTQI society or club. Society, I always get mixed up between club is active and society isn't. And we have a student officer that is employed by the Students' Union or the student government, a communities officer, which is a new post, and part of the remit is all about integration and diversity and support for all minority or non-traditional groups. So yeah, it's as I keep saying, Ireland is a super progressive country in many ways, and thankfully in that way as well.
Great. Are there any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to stop the recording, and of course, you're always welcome to contact either Catherine or Andrea or other study abroad advisors if you have more questions. Are there any others at the moment?
So I would just advise the students as well, Pamela, to speak to you in the office or about the advisors about the classes and things, because it is easier. The more flexibility you have in what you can take, the easier it will be for you. So for example, if you can't come in the spring and it's going to be next fall, what do you need to do now to make sure that when you come next fall that you can get the classes you need, or alternatively, if you have some gen eds, to hold on to them so that when you travel abroad that you can take some of the Irish cultural classes, maybe some of the ones that are slightly easier, and that would just make your life a little bit easier. So plan ahead, So if it's not spring and if you don't want to come for the summer and you want to come for a full semester, and maybe that's next year, and maybe you're a senior, then what do I need to do to come as a senior student? How do I stay on track? I still want to graduate in time. Maybe you have your credits done and dusted. We often have students that will come for the spring semester of their senior year who are technically graduated. They have all the credits they need. So they're just coming for the experience. They take their classes, but they don't need the credits to graduate. So think about the bigger picture. There's often more ways than one to get to the same end result.
Yes, great advice. I agree. Plan ahead, even if you're not sure exactly when you can travel. Meet with someone, talk about your options. Yes, great. Well, thank you so much, Catherine.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's the end of my day, but you still have a little bit to go. So as we say in Ireland, I'll let you go because I know you're quite busy. And I'll